In the early mornings of August 13th, 2018, a quiet Colorado neighborhood slept peacefully. But inside one of its homes, a nightmare was unfolding. One that would shake the nation and expose a darkness no one saw coming. Christopher Lee Watts, born May 16, 1985, in Spring Lake, North Carolina, and Shanann Catherine Ruchek, born January 10, 1984, in Aberdeen. Their story began in 2010, an ordinary beginning to what looked like an extraordinary life. They married on November 3, 2012, and soon welcomed two daughters, Bella, born in 2013, and Celeste, little Cece, born in 2015. By 2018, the couple lived in a 5-bedroom home in Frederick, Colorado. Chris worked at Anadarko Petroleum. Shanann worked from home, building a thriving online presence, promoting the product Thrive. But behind the camera-ready smiles, something much darker was brewing. In 2015, the couple filed for bankruptcy, drowning in over $400,000 of debt. But even as a financial stress mounted, Shanann continued documenting her life online, painting the picture of a perfect family. Friends later said Chris seemed quiet, reserved, but devoted. No one saw a warning sign. No one imagined what he was capable of. On August 10th, Shanann traveled to Arizona for a business trip. While she was away, Chris stayed home with the girls. But something was different. Something was off. At 1:48 a.m., Shanann returns home. A friend, Nicole Atkinson, drops her off. It will be the last known image of Shanann alive. Later that day, Shanann misses an OB/GYN appointment. She misses work calls. She doesn't answer texts. Nicole senses something is wrong. Very wrong. At 12:10 p.m., she arrives at the Watts home. No answer. No movement. No sign of Shanann or the girls. Police arrive for a welfare check. Inside, they find Shanann's purse, her keys, her medication, even her car, and the girls' car seats still in the garage. Everything a mother would need. Everything except her. And Chris claimed he had no idea where his family was. But the truth was already buried, 60 miles away. As the search for Shanann, Bella, and Celeste intensified, Chris became the face of a desperate public plea. But behind his soft-spoken words, investigators sensed a storm. Just hours after reporting his family missing, Chris stood on the porch, telling the world he just wanted them to come home safely. But investigators watching the interview saw something chilling. A man too calm, too rehearsed. Neighbors provided surveillance footage, and it changed everything. The footage showed Chris backing his truck into the garage at dawn, loading something large into the back. This directly contradicted his story. Investigators knew he was lying. Now, they needed him to crack. Chris agreed to take a polygraph test. Agents later said, "This is the worst decision of his life." He failed instantly, catastrophically. Faced with the evidence, Chris finally broke. But his first confession was another lie. Detectives didn't believe him, and they were right not to. Chris claimed Shanann killed the girls, and he killed her in a rage. Chris marked a photograph of an Anadarko oil site, the place he worked, indicating where he left his family. Shanann buried in a shallow grave. Bella and Celeste each pushed through an 8-inch hatch into separate crude oil tanks. The truth, now uncovered, was worse than anyone imagined. With the bodies recovered and Chris behind bars, the legal process moved swiftly, but the nation still wanted to understand why. On August 21st, 2018, Chris was charged with 9 felonies, including 3 counts of first-degree murder, tampering with bodies, and unlawful termination of a pregnancy. On November 6th, Chris pleads guilty to avoid the death penalty. At the request of Shanann's family, prosecutors removed the death penalty. They did not want another death, even his. Months later, disturbing details emerged. Letters from Chris revealed he had planned the murders for weeks. He admitted giving Shanann oxycodone to induce a miscarriage. Investigators learned he had a mistress, one who said Chris changed drastically in the days before the murders. When Bella walked in on him killing Shanann, he lied to her, telling her her mother was sick. He then drove his family to the oil site and murdered his daughters one by one. The Watts case became one of the most heavily scrutinized crimes of the decade. Documentaries, talk shows, and news specials dissected every detail. But Shanann's family spoke out, begging the public to honor their daughter and grandchildren, and to stop the online harassment they endured. Today, Chris Watts remains in a Wisconsin maximum security prison. His motive, a toxic mix of financial pressure, fantasy, and a secret double life, became a textbook example of familicide. But this case is not about him. It's about Shanann, about Bella, about Celeste, and about baby Nico, a family whose lives were stolen by the person they trusted most. May their story never be forgotten.